Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. It is Tuesday. If you're watching this, you're probably watching it on my personal page or the Blue Boy Brown Comics page because I'm not going to promote it on a bunch of Facebook groups till maybe tonight. Maybe I'll have a watch party or something like that. I'm going to do a little experiment and see whether or not this is the way to go. So here we are. So yesterday, see, I did page 91. 91. That's the last thing I did. I did like 2 pages yesterday, which is good. So now I'm going to head on and do this thing here, which is the family gets together for a feast, as it were. We'll see now whether or not it's a feast. So I gotta get rid of my middle tones. And that means, well, what's going on here? Oh, here. Undo that part, yep. Okay. So I'm just kind of taking it easy today. Let's see, special need to get all fired up. I'm way ahead. So since today, I start my second summer session for college class, I'm just gonna do what I have to do and don't worry about anything else. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of that little pencil mark here. I am just drawing Blue Boy's face and seeing other thing there. Okay. So I'm doing that. I'm just gonna take it easy today. And Blue Boy put on a shirt, so you lost your last opportunity to see him bare chested. No, he's just a cartoon. I've got nobody watching right now, but it's understandable if I'm getting most of my views from Facebook groups. We'll see what happens. Wife is doing baby talk to the dog. Hold on, I'm gonna go mute for a second. Oh well, if my wife wants to do baby talk to the dog, I guess that's bad. I do the same thing. Yeah, it's just an easy day. But looking at all my different printing possibilities, my printer, who's how to put that up? Yeah, why don't I do that? These are the people I'm going to use for my comic book printing. Yeah, this is what I'm going to. Okay. Second, I'm going to show. Oh, that's not good. Stop sharing screen. Well, then I'll remove.
I forgot the big bucket of water. If you can, I'll fill it up and bring it and put it on the small table.
I will eventually.
Yeah, before I get back.
I will eventually. So, this is the printer I'm going to use, Mixam. And they've done some pretty good high-end comic book printing. See? They're good. And they're not Chinese. Nothing about Chinese people, but the Chinese Communist government, I'm not giving them money to them. Sorry. There's too much that junk going on where we do not understand what's happening. So there's absolutely no reason to do that. Anyway, you do this and they slap a tariff on your comic book's not going to be too good. So I've been researching these guys for a long time. Good 7 or 8 months. It's really good stuff. They're still working, even through the time of the virus. And you can get your stuff shipped in like, get it in a week. Less than that. And so that's a whole lot better than having it shipped over from the Orient. And you get just as high quality. And it's done in Illinois, which is the traditional site for printing comics. For many years, it was done in Galesburg, Illinois. I don't know if it's still done there. I don't look too often to see where things are printed. But it'll, where is that? Where is that? Their headquarters. It's in Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Yep. So, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Sounds good to me. They have 2 different ways of printing. They'll either print it on a litho press, which is kind of a common old way to do it, or they'll do it on, they'll do it digitally, which is a small print run. I'm thinking, unless I am wildly successful on Kickstarter, that it'll be probably a small print run. which is fine with me. Everybody see it, figure out whether or not it's any good. Maybe we'll do another Kickstarter campaign for a second printing. This would be a limited edition printing, sort of like it was done, is done when you're printing etchings or lithographs. A small edition creates each piece is worth more. Of course, when you do an edition of 300, 400 prints, you're banking on the fact that your prints are going for at least $300 or $400 each. If you're Lazansky, they'd be going for like, $4,000 or $5,000 each. So if you printed a limited edition of 500, you'd be making buku bucks. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm doing a real small edition, and I know I can get it printed and get it out there. And that's part of my rationale. I've been gone for 40 years, and only a handful of people remember me. So it makes sense to have a small print run to see if anybody thinks it's worth looking at. Okay. Light of the Twins. Dixie. Do the ball. Now we got the widow over here about to debut her fixins. Beebo, bo, bo, bo. La, la, la. So, a little bit of phlegm in my throat today, which is not unusual for me. Quite a unusual thing if I came down with whatever is going around. I rarely get sick anymore. And I've been extremely careful during this thing since I'm a member of a high-risk group, both diabetic and I'm in my 60s. So not a good idea to treat this in a cavalier fashion. This is real stuff. This is a real pandemic. It's a real thing going on. So I'm not gonna finish the politics of it. I'm interested in staying healthy, so I've stayed pretty much at home the whole time it's been going on. Went to Jupiter last week, well, a week and a half ago. Got this newer computer, which I love. Thank you. Spiramax. Jupiter, Florida. You want a great computer for a fraction of the cost? Get yourself a Mac. Fraction of the cost, go there. Good guys. They really know how to. They don't refurbish a computer. They basically turn it into a new computer. That's basically what I have now. These, for years, Macs have been coming with Fusion drives, which I suppose is a combination of a regular hard drive and a solid state. My computer came with a solid state hard drive and no twirling disk inside this at all. So this this hard drive should really last a long time. Okay, I'm gonna just give I like this little drawing. You should come up with something that you like. You go, hey, that was a good one. So. You see, I have a texture of well, somebody's watching. And I didn't even promote this today. Hot dog. I should. One thing I'm going to promote is my friend Milan Kovacs is a Kickstarter campaign for his comic book All Stars. Not all stars are bright. And it's a superhero fantasy. It's not really about a superhero. You have to find out what it's about before you make any judgment about it. So go and get yourself one. Okay, let me see. Drawing dogs is fun. I've been drawing dogs forever. Dogs are always fun to draw. What a wonderful thing that dogs were the first domesticated animal. That's the first animal that we really bonded with. And they're just magnificent creatures. Dog I've ever had, I just love to pieces. My Toby, my collie, it's my third collie. The two collies I had when I was a boy. My first dog ever was a collie. This is in her mid-50s, so of course its name was Lassie. It was a girl. And She protected us children like you wouldn't believe. Man, I tell you, she would get between us and anything that might harm us. She's a great dog, man. Pretty as all get out. And then my second one's name was Goldie, and we had him in the late 50s, early 60s. And then I know Collie for what, 43 years. In 2003, I went and got Toby. Had him sent here from Michigan. Not fly. I wouldn't put a dog on an airplane. A breeder went up. She was going up and getting some dogs, some collies up in Michigan. She went and got them for us. And boy, what a great dog. What a superb dog. Okay, let me see what we got. Oh, there, up here will be a little banner that says, "The Family Feast." A family feast. It will be the Monday night family feast. So, gotta get the upstairs. Let me see. Grab some color from there. Let me see how big this should be. So let's. That's not right. That's not right. Actually, we get rid of that and multiply that. Up and up, 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 up. We put on a shirt, but figure out what kind of shirt color he's wearing. Okay, and then of course everybody's got the same general skin tone. This thing goes for about an hour and 20 minutes this morning because I teach college on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'll make the donuts. proud of this little drawing right here. I like this character here. Once I come up through the panel. So this is one of my favorites. La, 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 la. There. So my nephew's watching this. Just noticed that. Hello, Mike. Well. See how this goes. See, I got to start planning my Kickstarter campaign. I've been real lazy about that. So maybe I'll have that later part of this month. I don't know, or August or something like that. And Mike, I know you're listening. Are all those Big Macs I used to buy for you, and then you didn't eat them? Yeah, this is payback time. I know you remember those Big Macs. Even though you're only 5 years old, it's a big deal. Ow. Hands all get all nummy for a few minutes doing this, holding this walking pin a little bit too tight. It gets a little bit, your hands get a little bit numb. Yo, put up, put up, put up. Okay, at the end of the flash color. Now fix that. I'll do that. Okay. We should do that a little bit. Ah. Oh. Where else? There. Okay. Now, okay. Orange hair for the twins. funky. Let me see. Got a little bit of her down here too. Oops. It's nice to know that my nephew is also a Mac man. Probably the only people in the family's got Macs. Everybody else is allied with the evil one. Okay, that's the color of Joby's hair. No. Here's Joby's hair. Good thing about this multiply brush is I want to create a different value. All I have to do is this. Just now what color did I give this boy? I've forgotten now. I have to go back to page what? This is 90. What? It's 91, so it'd be 89. Page 89. Page 89. That's not it. Okay, be page 88. But find page 88. 88. Well, let's try 87. Well, it's not much. Let me see. Well, let's look at 86. See, we got 86 here. Let's see, 86. I don't have to go look for it. I'll just have to settle with. I'll tell you what. The way to do this. I use that. Yeah, it's a little lighter than Joby's hair. You know, it's a whole lot more fun than doing comics back in the 70s when we were doing them in Colorado City. Oh man, well, it was right outside Manitou Springs in Colorado Springs. Our tables were doors. Our desks were doors with the verticals hold them up were milk crates. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done. I do prefer my current setup that is an actual antique desk. I got out of my father-in-law's house when he passed away. It's a real nice sturdy desk. Okay, and then, okay, we got, is still wearing that dress. So we gotta give her the treatment. Well, Ma was raised in Boot Heel, Missouri, where people don't move around too much. So she's been moving around ever since she married this guy. I think it's on time I show her here. Yep. So I'm going back to my green, which is about this type of a green. And put that in. Okay. Boy was wearing this colored pants before, so let's still be wearing them. Oh, baby, blue blue here. And then to color her lips needs to be a little bit she's a barely teenage girl and she's not wearing anything on her lips. Mennonite girls don't wear, and they're not Mennonites, but they're all close. They don't wear makeup. They don't have to. Girls are too pretty to wear makeup anyway. Let me see. Yeah. So this is Joby. And let me see. Just add one more. Bubba, bubba, bubba. Might as well do this a little bit here. Since it's gonna be like that. So I say I have a whole lot more fun doing this than when I was doing it in Colorado in 1973. So we had really stiff illustration board, which is not what we should have been using. We should have been using bristle board. Well, what did we know? You know, that's what we were using. We were taught how to use in those first fitful days of college, and so we used this crescent illustration board, which had a real hard surface. That's okay. If you're using rapidographs, is what we were using. Ugh. Can't imagine we're using rapidographs now. Don't have to. clog up. The main reason I disliked Rapidograph so much is that unless you use Rapidograph ink, you used just regular Koh-i-Noor or Pelican ink, man, it would clog up on you all the time. You have to be shaking it and doing all types of stuff to it. It's not a lot of fun. I don't even know if they make Rapidographs anymore. Okay. Taking advantage of the fact that when you do multiply as your mode, every time you make a stroke, it's like laying it on top of watercolor. So I'm just going to use this to create a shadow area without having to mess with any overlay of color. I'll just accentuate that. Da 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 da. And then same thing, old Joe. Let's run his hair color too. Okay. So the color of the kitchen is this color. So I'm going to change that a tiny bit to okay, see how that works. The wrong magnet yellow. Yellowish. Yellow has a very, very narrow band of purity. It put the slightest bit of red in it, and you got yellow orange. Slightest bit of blue in it, you got yellow green. So yellow, being the lightest of the values, has the shortest range of purity. So no matter what you do to it, you're going to have a tough time getting a real yellow. And this is not a real yellow because there's a little bit of orange tone in the back of it. Oh, the old hand. Ooh. Okay, that worked. It's a nice big family. Big families are usually happy families because the children don't have to go off all over creation trying to find friends. They got them right there. So my wife tells me she had 9 brothers and sisters, big family. They're very, very close to this day, extremely close. All love each other a great deal. But my brother and sister, I only had a brother and a sister. We were each other's best friends. We'd go off searching for too many other people to hang out with. We always had each other. Especially since my brother and I were always competing, drawing comic books. He's better at it than I was. I stuck at it, stuck with it. He didn't stick. He still draw like nobody's business. If he wanted to take it up again, he could be as good as anybody within a very short period of time. That's how good he was. But I told him he should, and he said, I don't want to. His big deal was restoring cars, make them look, gorgeous, especially like 57 Chevys. That's where he got his making art yada yadas. Well, release all these to the world and print up every page digitally. Take a real good hard look at it, knowing that most likely if this is a very small print run, it will also be printed digitally. So I can get a pretty good idea how this is going to look. So before I send it out to the world, have it printed actually, I'm going to get a hard copy proof from the printer. Look at that, make sure that I've got everything right. You know, my comic book from the 70s was published without a proof being done. And that really kind of messed things up because the printer made a huge mistake. And there was nothing could be done about it. So I'm definitely going to do that. Printers are just human beings, and they may make a big boo-boo, and then you can't fix it if there's 10,000 of these dang things floating around out there. Heck, you have to get rid of them now because you paid for them. Once again, I forgot to do this boy's hair. Okay. Time is, oh, I don't have much time left. I got maybe at most 15 minutes. And I have to be out here. Teach my college class. So, no. Okay. Now, what color dress was the old lady wearing? In this color. I will finish this up tomorrow. Probably get another page done. That'll bring me to the point where probably I can get 2 weeks worth of work done this week, and maybe I'll get 2 weeks done next week, and I'll be up to, I'll get 4 weeks ahead, which is really nice. Be that far ahead gives you a little leeway to make corrections, redraw and rewrites, and all types of stuff. Yeah, there are two mics. There are two mics that come and watch my. One of them is my brother, and the other one's his son. That's his son today. This could also be his little girls watching me. That'd be all right. That's a little more. One was about to go to college. The other one must be in high school. believe it. Nephew's kids are that old. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, and what color? Okay, and you were wearing that color. I was coloring this last night. I was saying, this is a good guy, even though he's wearing Lex Luthor's color. Well, that's, you know. It's Lex Luthor during the Silver Age. That's the color he wore during the Silver Age when Curt Swan and George Klein and Stan Kaye were doing Superman. Ralph Brumley or something like that was also Ray Brumley or something like that. It's also an inker for Curt Swan. They're all great inkers. All three of those guys were just superb inkers. Each had their little thing going on. Everybody touts Murphy Anderson, who was really good, but I preferred the 50s and early 60s inkers. I don't think you can get better than Stan Drake and Robert Klein. I just don't think there's any better Superman inkers everywhere. I think Stan Drake was Wayne Boring's inker for a long time too, which tells you that Stan Drake took all his cues in inking from the penciler. He didn't impose himself on the work. He just did he inked it the way the penciler wanted it. Because Boring's work is a whole lot different than Curt Swan's work, and if they're both got the same inker, you'd think there'd be affinities between the two, but there's not. Kaye just simply adapted himself to the inker, to the penciler, which means he's really, really had a lot of range. Klein's main claim to fame is late 50s, early 60s, up until the mid 60s. Curt Swan's inking Curt Swan stuff. I don't really remember his stuff too much when he went over to Marvel after DC treated him so badly. Treats everybody badly. DC's really, once they decide they're letting you go, they let you go. Which I thought was a big mistake with George Klein. What are you talking about? Why would you treat George Klein that way? I don't know. Yeah, I'm almost finished. They treated Jerry Ordway the same way. Just said, Ordway, you're finished. What? He's only the greatest Superman artist outside of Curt Swan. He really reestablished the beauty of Superman comics, man. The way that he just was just so, he's still incredibly good. Jerry Ordway rocks. They just basically told him, well, no, we're going to go with somebody else. What? Ordway is magnificent. Smooth this out a tiny bit. Once again, guys, I am sloppy when it comes to this because that is my retro way of mimicking coloring from the 60s, which was done with a totally different weird coloring system. That's less idea what it's about. Anyway, this is what I'm doing. Come back and finish this tomorrow. Let me see. Shouldn't take too long. So here we are. And I'm out of here. I got a class in 25 minutes. Then I gotta get ready, fix myself a peanut butter sandwich for the middle of it. It's a 3-hour and 20-minute movie, whole thing. So I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Mike. I love you. Give everybody a hug. Social distancing, bud. Well, you're probably working from home. So take care of yourself. Bye-bye.